Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when we're forced to stop pretending we have unlimited time, a moment where we realize the gap between who we are and who we could be is no longer about ability, it's about choice. That moment doesn't shout, it doesn't wait, it whispers now or never. And the truth is, most people miss their chance not because they weren't capable, but because they were waiting for more time, more clarity, more confidence. But real change, it begins the second you decide that waiting is no longer an option. Tonight, I want to speak to that version of you, the one that knows something needs to shift, the one that's been holding back. The one that's one decision away from everything they've been talking about, dreaming about, wishing for. Let's talk about why now is the only time that truly exists, and why this could be the moment everything changes. We live in a world that constantly sells us comfort, the soft couch, the easy option, the soothing routine, the path of least resistance, and it's tempting, isn't it? Comfort feels safe, familiar, predictable. But what we don't always realize is that comfort can slowly become a trap. A beautiful, well-decorated trap that keeps us stuck in the same place, living the same year over and over again. Growth doesn't happen there. Growth demands discomfort. It demands friction. It demands that we stretch beyond what feels easy. We all crave certainty. We want to know that things will work out, that we won't fall flat on our faces, that we won't embarrass ourselves or waste time or fail. So we cling to routines, to habits, to people and places that don't challenge us, not because we're lazy, but because we're scared to feel exposed, scared to feel vulnerable, scared to be seen trying and not succeeding right away. But growth isn't born in safety. It's born in those awkward, uncertain moments when we take a step we're not quite ready for. Comfort convinces us that we're okay where we are, that someday is a good plan. That we'll make the leap later, when it's less risky, when we have more time, when we feel more confident. But the truth is, there will always be a reason to wait, always a reason to stay the same, and as time passes, the cost of that comfort becomes heavier. The dreams begin to fade, the hunger starts to dull, the fire inside us, once burning bright, turns to quiet embers we barely notice anymore. Growth, on the other hand, doesn't wait for the perfect time. It doesn't need permission. It requires us to be brave, to trade predictability for possibility. It asks us to step into the unknown and say, I don't know exactly what's coming, but I trust that I can handle it. That kind of mindset doesn't come from staying in your comfort zone. It comes from leaving it again and again until courage becomes your default, not your exception. Think about anything meaningful you've ever achieved. Did it come easily, or did it require some level of risk, of effort, of showing up when you didn't feel fully prepared? Maybe it was having a hard conversation, or starting something new, or walking away from what you've outgrown. Those moments were uncomfortable, but they changed you, they shaped you, they moved you forward. Comfort might feel like peace, but often it's just stagnation in disguise. It's the job you hate but won't leave, the relationship that's unfulfilling but familiar, the creative dream you keep burying under I'm too busy, or maybe next year. It's subtle but powerful, and the longer you stay in it, the more it convinces you that this is all there is. But discomfort is the signpost that you're on the edge of something bigger. It's not punishment, it's feedback. It means you're trying, it means you're expanding, it means you're stepping into territory that will grow your capacity, your resilience, your belief in yourself. People who grow aren't fearless, they just stop letting fear dictate their choices. They feel the discomfort and move anyway. The funny thing is, the more you stretch yourself, the more you start to crave that edge. You get addicted to becoming more than you were yesterday. You stop looking for shortcuts and start trusting the process. You stop fearing failure and start fearing regret. You realize that comfort never actually protected you. It only delayed you from your potential, from your purpose, from the life you could have been living all along. Staying comfortable might protect your pride, but it will cost you your progress. It might save you from a few awkward moments, but it will steal years of transformation. And in the end, you'll look back not regretting the risks you took, but the ones you didn't. Growth will never come knocking at your door while you're sitting still. You have to go out and meet it, and that journey always begins where comfort ends. Confidence is often misunderstood. People think it's something you have to feel before you take action. That somehow, if you wait long enough, confidence will appear on its own, and then you'll finally be ready to take the leap, start the conversation, launch the idea, or walk away from the thing that's no longer serving you. But that's not how confidence works. Confidence is not a prerequisite for action. It's the result of it. Think about the things in your life you feel most confident about. Chances are you didn't feel that way in the beginning. You probably felt awkward, uncertain, maybe even terrified, but you did it anyway, and somewhere in the process, between the shaky first step and the one where you didn't need to think so hard, you built confidence. Not because the fear was gone, but because you proved to yourself that you could move forward in spite of it. We often assume confident people are born that way, that they have some special gift or inner power we weren't given. But confident people are just people who have done the thing enough times that it no longer controls them. They've failed, embarrassed themselves, doubted every move, and still kept showing up. What they have isn't arrogance, it's evidence. They've collected proof over and over again that they can handle life as it comes, that they don't need to be perfect, just present. Waiting to feel confident is like waiting for a boat to pick you up on dry land. It's not coming. The real transformation happens when you take the step you're not ready for, when you lean into the discomfort, when you act from a place of "this matters to me," even when your hands are shaking. Because when you do that, you start to shift your identity. You're no longer someone who thinks about it. You're someone who does it, and every time you do, you build trust with yourself. That trust is the root of real confidence. The reason people stay stuck is because they've built their lives around avoiding discomfort. They fear the stumble, the awkwardness, the possibility of failure, so they overthink, they wait. They rehearse the conversation 100 times in their head, hoping it will eventually feel effortless. But ease doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. It comes from giving yourself permission to be messy, to get it wrong, to fall flat, and realizing that you're still okay, that your worth isn't tied to flawless execution. It's tied to your willingness to show up. You'll never outthink fear. Fear doesn't shrink in silence. It expands. The longer you wait, the louder it gets. The more you delay, the more power it has. But the moment you act, the moment you put motion behind your intention, fear starts to lose its grip. Not because it disappears entirely, but because you've taken your power back. You've said, "You don't get to decide what I do with my life." This is why people who act, even in small, imperfect ways, gain confidence while others stand still. They're not braver. They're just more willing to feel awkward, to be seen trying, to look foolish if that's what it takes to grow. And that choice, to act despite fear, is where confidence is born. It's not loud, it's not boastful, it's the quiet knowing that comes from being in alignment with your actions, from knowing you didn't wait for certainty, you created it. You don't need to wait for a magic moment to feel ready. You need to decide that your growth matters more than your comfort, that your future matters more than your ego, that the life you want is worth the temporary unease of stepping into it before you feel fully prepared. Confidence is not some internal switch that flips on when everything is perfect. It's a muscle that grows every time you do the thing scared, every time you say yes before your mind gives you 100 reasons to say no. Confidence doesn't come first, courage does. Courage is the seed. Confidence is the result, and the only way to grow it is to stop waiting and start moving. We spend so much of our lives waiting for clarity, waiting until the plan is perfect, the timing is right, the fears are gone. We convince ourselves that if we could just see the whole path, if we could be certain of every step and every outcome, then we'd finally be ready to move. But life doesn't work that way. The truth is, you rarely get to see the full picture before you start. You just get a small glimpse, a tug in your heart, a sense that there's something more waiting for you if you're brave enough to step toward it. Most people never move because they are obsessed with needing to know how it will all work out. They want a guarantee, a safety net, some kind of assurance that things won't go wrong or fall apart. And so they stay stuck in planning, overthinking, and doubting, hoping that more time will bring more certainty. But what actually happens is the opposite. More time just brings more hesitation, more pressure, and more fear. Because clarity isn't found in sitting still. Clarity is created through action. When you take one step, even the smallest one, something shifts, you get feedback, you gain insight, you start to see what you couldn't see before. You don't need the whole staircase, you just need to take the first step. That's how momentum is built. That's how fear starts to lose its grip, not through waiting, but through moving. There's a reason we admire people who seem fearless, who make bold moves, who go after what they want even when they don't have all the answers. It's not because they're reckless, it's because they've realized that waiting for certainty is a trap. They've accepted that growth requires stepping into the unknown, into discomfort, into the parts of life that don't come with clear instructions. And they've learned to trust themselves enough to move without knowing exactly where they'll land. So many dreams die in the waiting room of not yet. Not yet because I don't know how to begin. Not yet because I don't have enough experience. Not yet because what if I fail? But the people who build something meaningful, whether it's a relationship, a business, a creative path, or a new version of themselves, understand that you grow into it. You don't start with all the skills. You don't begin with full confidence. You learn as you go. You stumble, adjust, adapt, and keep moving. Every path looks uncertain in the beginning. That's what makes it a path worth taking. If everything was already mapped out, if every challenge and solution was known ahead of time, there would be no growth in it, no stretch, no strength built. It's in the unknown that we develop the courage, the patience, and the resilience that shape who we are. Sometimes we think we're stuck because the path isn't clear, but really we're stuck because we're afraid to start without a map. We're afraid that if we take a wrong turn, we'll waste time or embarrass ourselves. But even the wrong turns teach you something. They show you what doesn't work. They redirect you toward what does. Nothing is truly wasted if you're willing to learn from it. It's easy to look at someone who's already 10 steps ahead and forget that they started exactly where you are, unsure, unprepared, and nervous, but they chose to start anyway. And that single decision to begin before they had all the answers is what separated them from the ones who are still waiting for permission. The truth is, you'll figure it out along the way. You'll ask questions. You'll make mistakes. You'll get uncomfortable, but you'll grow. You'll build evidence that you can handle what comes next. And that evidence becomes the foundation of your confidence. Not fake, surface level confidence, but the real kind that's earned through experience. So stop waiting for perfect. Stop waiting to feel 100% ready. Stop waiting for the entire plan to unfold before you take the leap, because the path doesn't appear before the step, it appears because of it. You don't need the full picture. You just need the courage to begin. And maybe, right now, you're still trying to talk yourself into it, still searching for a reason to wait just a little longer. But deep down, you already know. The life you want isn't on the other side of more thinking, it's on the other side of a decision. So if you're waiting for the right moment, this is it. If you're waiting for a sign, this is it, because this isn't about perfection. It's not about being fearless, it's about choosing to move even with the fear. It's about showing up even when you're unsure, and it's about realizing that the difference between staying stuck and moving forward is rarely more than a single, powerful choice. So the only question left is, will this be the moment you finally decide, because it's not tomorrow, it's not someday, it's now or it's never, thank you.